Hi, I am responding to something I've seen on the internet, and it is entitled "Two Kids Who Go to Another Country Set Out to Get Drunk," and it's to do with the British teens mostly. And I think if this is a holiday away without your mom or your dad or a sibling that's more older and that's going to parent, then yes, the answer is yes. They'll actually get drunk, and this is a concern actually, and the biggest concern is because they will try to show off in front of their peers of how much that they can drink. The best advice is to know your limits, because if you start to feel not particularly well, you need to stop, because alcohol in other countries is not measured and it is not weighed at all, and people abroad actually know this as well, and they get people completely hammered. So even if it wasn't always your intention to get drunk in the first place, their units are completely different to the units in pubs in Britain. And I think that's the one major difference that you need to understand. It's not as simple as going out on the town in England. It's completely different when you go to another country. And I know if I turned around to my mum or dad and said, "Mum, Dad, I am going abroad with this person or this person," they would say, no you're not. And then I'd be saying, yes, I am. Look, I've packed a suitcase, I've paid for this and this. I would try and get my money back, but they would actually do everything in their power to cancel it, and I would not be going. And it's not just about alcohol. It's these sorts of things that once you consume alcohol, the sorts of things it makes people do, and your kid would not be safe, even if they are a teenager or if they've actually just turned 18. I mean, for a start there in a different country. It's not like you can pick up the phone and see how they are. So yeah, I mean, I know in my experience, I would not be getting on a plane with people who they know tend to drink alcohol. Growing up, my mum and dad have always made a point of letting all of my mates. They'd say, well, rings, Owens, so here, let's get them all, cook a tea or something, and they would get them. And if I ever slept over at any of my friends' houses, they've always wanted to know which friend it is. They'd want contact details, and it was like, I mean, even at school, somebody even said, why don't you like her get this girl's mom to cover, and then you'd be able to come out. And I'd think about it, and and say, oh, no, that's not gonna work, because my mom is going to want to know the contact details and what her mom is going to lie to my mom. I have never been in a situation when people have actually been drunk and offhand. I mean, I remember even when I was younger, this is when I was 13, and I had a phone call, and they wanted me to meet up at a park. I'm thinking, oh yes, Mum, yeah, I'm gonna go. There's some good people there. And my mum and my nan was like, oh no, you don't want to be going out here at this time of night. Oh no, it's a bit dark. You don't want to be going to a park. What are you gonna do? And I'd be like, play on the swings, go down the slide. And they'd be like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Call them up and say that you'll see them at school tomorrow. I mean, I think some people did try to get me to come out, but it never happened. It never happened because of the pressures that would have happened. I mean, I'd hear at school the next day how someone had sex with another person, and they went back to a person's house, and they did this and they did that, and then half the guys would be like, oh, she's easy, yeah, just, you can have sex with her. And I'm thinking, oh no, I wouldn't want no one to talk about me in those terms. And so in actual fact, my mum and my dad and my sister and everybody else did me a good turn, and that is by keeping me on the straight and narrow. And these days, some parents lack the authority over their kids. They do. Some of them do. And I had people all the time bringing me back, telling me how it is, because it's so easy to go out and get drunk. I mean, and that's in this country. So imagine what it's gonna be like in a different country. I mean, as I've mentioned, the units of alcohol in a different country is even higher, and some people do not have the sense to stop when they start feeling a bit strange, a bit, so no, I'm sorry, no, the answer is no. Kids, even teenagers, should not go abroad when they are just over 18. I'm sorry, no. I mean, 18 is the age where it's only legal to drink. And at that age, all kids are experimenting. Like, oh, so we can have some Archers and we can have some vodka and we can have we can try a bit out of Daniels. What are they having here? Oh, there's some shots here, and they are necking them back, and then towards the end of the night they were being sick in one corner outside a pub. I mean, it was it last year or the year before? My mum and dad went on holiday together, and they went to Spain, I think. It was one of the countries. Was it Ibiza? And my mum was walking past, and she saw this young girl puking in the streets, and she's like, and she was nudging her dad, going, "That's somebody's baby girl who's been, vomiting and all this, that, and the other. She's going to feel awful tomorrow." That's if she, even, and this is through my experience, I haven't been on a holiday abroad without mum or dad, but I went to a club because it was it my cousin's birthday. It was a family get together, and this girl, she passed out, completely passed out. She scared me, and I think she fell over and her head was cut, and people were asking her what is her house number, and she's like, "Oh, what is it?" And everyone was trying to prop her head up and going, "Yeah," and 5, 4, 118, and we weren't getting a bit of sense out of her at all, and someone who knew her had to come down and help her get into a taxi and give the taxi her home address. we didn't know. We didn't know nothing at all. And then after that, like, oh God, I'm gonna have a fact. You know, it's really scared me that her head was bleeding. She needed attention. She needed the services attention. She needed it all sorts. I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, and this is in England. And she was, how old was she? Was she 18? Even if she was 18, she'd only just turned it. And people said, even before she came to the party, she had had a whole bottle of vodka. And in one sense, that's why I hate it, because it's disgusting, and the more you have, it tastes foul. I mean, with me, times when I have got drunk, it has been in cocktails, because I can't taste the alcohol. All I can taste is the juices. So no, I mean, if this is what we are like in England, no way should kids go unsupervised without their mums or their dads to a different country to drink. No way. Because even moms and dads know exactly the sorts of things that would entail. I mean, I heard, and this was when I was maybe 18 or 19 even, and I remember hearing that some friends of mine who had on a road, they'd gone in a different country, and perhaps they did spend most of their time high on alcohol, but the point is that they had sex with a lot of people. And so when you start to drink alcohol, and if people are single, they do a lot of crazy things. I mean, I have heard stories all the time. And a person like me, when I was younger, let's just say I have the devil's advocate in me. There was no way my mum or my dad would trust me to go abroad in a different country, and young girls are at more risk than young boys. And the only reason I say that is because I'm thinking from a perspective where even if you've had some alcohol and someone wants to have sex with you, and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'll be fine, and I mean, I suppose even at that age, especially young girls, they learn that they actually are very attractive. They develop boobs, they, and like if they have like long blonde hair or all sorts of different things, they don't understand what goes on in a man's head. I mean, what they can think of in their heads are is, oh, I've been nice. I have a smile on my face and I'm being nice. But my other half told me that there was a survey on the radio this once, and this was at work, and he actually said that if a young girl smiles at a man or a young boy when they are out and about, they think, oh, amen. But she's only being nice and happy. So, and at that age too, they are going to flirt. They are going to realise they have sexuality and that people are attracted to them. And so on holiday with alcohol and with the sorts of clothes that they are taking, I mean, if that was the case and I was going on holiday with another person, which it happened, but it was actually in England, my mom wanted to talk with my boyfriend's mom and dad before we went anywhere. So, I think as a mom or a dad, you need to be able to find out what your kid or your son or your daughter is up to. I mean, of course, you can't be on top of them all the time, 24/7. It is exhausting, and at times, hands up, I have misled my mom or my dad, thinking that I am somewhere where I'm actually not, and that's only ever worked through careful planning and realistic explanations as to why I'm not here at a certain time. I mean, it happens. All kids will fudge the truth with their moms or their dads. I mean, I've done it. I know I've done it. But to hear it, this should really be ringing alarm bells in here, because kids they do tend to fabricate truth, and you need to be on top of these kids, because in actual fact they aren't 28, 29 and calming down. When they are in their teenage years and in their early 20s, they are going to experiment. And I had a conversation with a person the other day. Was it the other day? It was across the internet, and he went by the name of Professor somebody, I can't think now, but he was actually saying and explaining to me that, in his words, women are out there to actually be there for his pleasure, and that if he wants to, he just sees women as an open hole that he can do whatever to, and at such a young age, it is absolute terrifying. I mean, these days, this world is actually getting awfuler and sicker. It wasn't the same as it was 10 years ago. It was not the same as it was 20 years ago. There are more and more different things out there that people don't even think they can consider in their heads. Yes, kids, once they are away from adult supervision, they are gonna drink, they are gonna make mistakes, but as a mom or as a dad, who you really want to actually be told that your son or daughter is in hospital in another country, getting their stomach pumped, or in another country where they can't even get to them at all. I need to put this out here. Things happen. Things are always going to happen. But you need to educate your kids at times. Educate them on the alcohol. And if they start to feel a bit strange, stop. Do not continue. They don't know how much alcohol their bodies can take. It is actually quite dangerous. And at that age, you need to be able to, one, monitor them, and two, you need to be able to get to them as well. If they are okay in England, crazy, and you're always having to pick them up and they are drunk and they are, no way are they ever going to go to a different country, because if they can get this drunk in this country, when they go to a different country, as I haven't mentioned, they do not the same amount of unit in alcohol. They don't, and it's a scary thought, and I think people need to be aware of this going on, and you need to be able to you need to you need to trust them, and at the same time they need to have some good common sense. Me, growing up, I did not always have good common sense, and people, if they wanted to, they could mislead me, and I think that would be one of my mum and dad's biggest worries. You need to be able to get to your kids. You need to be able to, if they are out, text them or call them, not all the time, but just, just so that you know that they are okay. I think normally from kid to kid you can age them. I mean, me, with the way that I've just explained myself, that would scare my mum and my dad. But my sister, not too much, because she, let's just say my sister does have some more common sense than me, and especially when she was 18. So usually, yes, you can age it by different kids of what they are going to be like when they are out. And I suppose with me, because I always had a bit of the evil advocate, and if I'm put with a young girl or boy that you'd consider a bit of a wild child, then I would be off the roof off my head. So I've actually had to have people in my life to pull me back, to around me. And I think it's because I've had parents the way that I have had. I've not got into the sorts of situations that other kids have been in. And I think what's important is, especially with alcohol, you need to know what your limit is and not go over it, because the people that go over it, lots of things can happen. It does not always mean that you are being sick outside the club. I'm not saying I'm so perfect, because I haven't, and at times I have had my own little stories, but the point is that you do need to educate